Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to be a look at the new Ascent to Eminence event, as well as the new Void Battles and Void Endeavors that were added to the game yesterday. We got a ton of news yesterday, so I want to briefly go over some of this. Of course, we have Ascent to Eminence active right now, which we'll discuss at length. We have Void Battle schedule update and 2 new Void Battles that have new weapons and some limited time endeavors. We got a new event in the Compendium, Dream Big Under the Big Top. Pretty much as expected, the facility can now be leveled up to 35. And this event was never rerun, so I'm planning on featuring this in an updated guide to facility events and the Compendium as a whole. So expect that sometime next week where I'll take an in-depth look, but know that there's no rush with that because that Compendium content is permanent. We found out that Volk's Wrath is getting a Master difficulty, but also the weekly bonus for Expert difficulty is going to have a new material that's dropped from Master that's needed for crafting Tier 2 6-star weapons. So I love that philosophy. It seems like they're taking the same approach that they took with the High Dragons once they sort of rebalanced those, where even the lower difficulty gives you a small amount of the precious crafting material you need for the Tier 2 weapon. That is a good way to make it so players who can't clear Master can steadily power up over time just doing Expert to the point where eventually they can break into Master because they have a Tier 2 6-star weapon. So I like how they've approached that philosophically. I like that Master hasn't all come out at once for all the Agito trials this time, and that we're getting one this month. We'll probably get another one in July, and I guess in June we'll probably get the Twins Agito battle. We got our interlude, which we played through yesterday, and then they just reiterated the announcement of Dragon Special and the Platinum Showcase, and as expected, the Platinum Showcase does feature all 5-star dragons, not just the ones that are shown here. It's actually all of them that you have a chance to get. So do bear that in mind if you're deciding to purchase that. So that's kind of a quick recap of the news. The focus of this video is going to be on the Ascent to Eminence event and Void Battles, because I feel like players often ask and leave comments about how to spend and manage their resources well, what types of things to farm. I know on my recent video where I discussed why I'm excited about the version update, a lot of players didn't know that you can actually farm more rupees from Void Battles than from Avenue to Fortune. And so I wanted to make this video to kind of walk you through how I personally spend my resources and what I do to manage them in Dragalia Lost on a typical day, especially because it seems like this week of Void Endeavors happens every month without fail. This is kind of a built-in part of the game now, where once a month toward the end, we have this week where we just have Void Endeavors, maybe some upgrade event or some other light content happening. And it's in times like these where consistently logging in and using your wings and stamina, that type of stuff adds up over time and is often why you might see players who have played the same amount of time, one of them could have a stronger account or had made more progress than another person. So if you're kind of interested in learning how to optimize that a little bit, I'm hoping to share that with this video. I'll start with a reminder real quick. So one of the first things I do when I log in is do my daily deal summon. You know, if you have Diamantium to spend, you can spend it here. Right now I don't. I'm going free to play for a while. But as of now, there's also a free summon happening on this showcase. So that's one of the first things you're going to want to do to remember is to go here and do your free summon. It can be overlooked now, especially because there's 3 banners happening together. And I think the default page is this one. So you actually have to switch pages to get your free summon. So when I log in, that's usually the first thing that I'll do or check. Then I tend to go over here to the Dragon Roost, and you want to feed your dragons to form a bond with them. When I mentioned in that video on the version update that some dragons are stronger at a low bond level, I do think that's true, but personally that's a little bit too far for me as far as optimization goes. The types of dragons that we are thinking about here are dragons where you want to get their effect, but it's not necessarily advantageous to stay in their form for very long because maybe they don't have a good transformation. So an example that I can think of is, let's say Popstar Siren This is a dragon who already has built-in extra dragon time via her second ability. I think it's called Exhilaration. It gives her more dragon time. But this dragon, you really want to use her buff skill twice, and then she doesn't deal a lot of damage as a dragon, so you want to be able to transform back into a human very quickly in order to get to use your adventurer skills and build SP for them, because while you're a dragon, you can't be charging up your skills. So that's all that I meant when I said that sometimes it's better to have a low bond level, because the bond level affects your shapeshift duration, and sometimes it's better to have a low shapeshift. Now, as you can see, I don't really care for that bit of optimization. I just prefer to form a bond with all my dragons, because how can you not bond with your dragons? And you get Sunlight Ore and Wormite for raising their bond level. The Wormite finishes out at level 15, but the Sunlight Ore is only unlocked at level 30. I'm now working on my last dragon in my collection, Cinder Drake, and I use all my daily gifts on him. I think you want to use these every day anyway, and if you're worried about bond management, you could use them on a dragon you've already taken to bond 30, and you'll still get rewards. The reason I think you want to feed these every day anyway is because you do get talent stones from them sometimes, and talent stones are not that easy to obtain. Nowadays, you do get them more often through high dragon trials and stuff like that, but in the past, those were sometimes a gate for higher facility levels. Then I go into my Halidom, I collect my rupees, I collect my dragon fruit, kind of have a look around, I check on my honey tea and see if it's capped out. If it's capped out, I'll use it, but otherwise I kind of just let it sit there and leave it. And after that, I go to the quest page, and usually I just do this in the morning as like part of my morning ritual, and do Avenue to Power, Avenue to Fortune, on the hardest difficulty available, Elemental Ruins on whichever one has Expert. I do 2 of these dragon trials on whatever has Expert, or, well, all of them have Master, sorry. Whichever one has double drops is what I meant to say, because typically there will be something with double drops. Otherwise, what I do is I just look here at my items and my materials, and I see which of the dragon scales I need the most. So right now I have 225 flame, 279 water, 559 wind, 313 of the light, and 494 of shadow. So if I were doing this right now, I would be doing the Brunhilde's trial, because I need more flame in this case. And same approach with Elemental Ruins. On days when Expert is available on everything, I do that exact same thing. Look for the Elemental Ruins where I need the orb the most. And likewise with Imperial Onslaught, but typically there will be something on double drops, and I'll go for that. I do all of these 4 with stamina, but for Imperial Onslaught, I do it typically in co-op, actually. And it takes a while nowadays to find, but I still found, for the most part, it's not too bad to find one other person and then just start the room immediately. Stuff like the Mercurial Gauntlet, I don't look at all the time. I'm not just playing this for fun usually. I only look at this once a month when it's updated, or if there's new levels added to it. And Advanced Dragon Trials I do for my weekly bonus, and then lately, it just depends on what I need. Lately, I've been doing Expert High Mercury, and I tend to just burn wings, extra wings on Expert High Mercury or some Expert Trial, because I find those to be easier sinks for wings. In particular, High Jupiter and High Mercury, since right now there's no Agito battle for those elements. And I also do my 3 weeklies in Volk's Wrath right now, but any Expert Agito battle is a pretty decent place to do those. Standard's also a pretty decent place to spend wings as well, or a stamina that I have left over. But that's kind of how I would approach each day. And then for the dragon stuff, each week, usually Monday or Tuesday, sometimes into Wednesday, I will finish those weeklies off. But let's actually get into Void Weeks in particular now, and limited time events like this upgrade event. So I'm going to play through Ascent to Eminence and Ascent to Power, or Ascent to Fortune and Ascent to Power real quick. And we'll start with Ascent to Power. I guess this is the team I used last time. I just want to say, I like this event. There's something weird about this event that I like. I like the maps in this event, particularly the second map. This first one's kind of pretty, it's got nice music, but the second one is just beautiful. Having said that, I don't think it's really that worth it to grind these out unless you started recently. If you've been playing for a while, they're not bad, but I don't know that they have the resources you're particularly lacking right now. Ascent to Power, let's start here, has a lot of the same stuff that you would see from Avenue to Power. You're getting 28 crystals, let's say between 25 and 30 crystals for 10 stamina, which you need about 2,200 to take a character from level 80 to level 100, to my recollection. So it's a small drop in the bucket, but you need a lot of gold crystals. I tend to not mana spiral a lot of characters because I don't have the resources to do that. So for me, I'm not in a particular rush to get these gold crystals. I kind of have in reserve enough to get a couple of mana spiral characters fully leveled if needed. One thing I should point out here is the astral pieces. These astral pieces, by doing the weekly daily play that I talked about, you're probably going to get up to 300. And same with the Fafnir medals, just by doing your dailies every day during the week, you're probably going to be able to get up to 50, especially if you use your excess wings and stamina every day for things like High Dragons or Agito. So you can see we need 4 more of those, and we already capped out on astral pieces. Let's do Ascent to Power real quick, because this one's just such a pretty map. Like, I guess we'll use the same team, even though this is light, so it favors shadow adventurers. But I just want more maps on this beautiful little beach. I'm gonna turn off auto for a second. Like, it's not a huge arena, but look at this. At nighttime, like, this might be the prettiest stage in the game. I actually just want more quests here. Yeah, this is probably the highlight of the event for me. What I was gonna say is, this is right now just providing rupees, so like if you're new and you can't do harder void battles, this isn't a bad source of rupees, and perhaps the drop rate is even competitive with double drop void chimeras. Let's take a look. Looks like you get a good amount. I mean, a quarter mil is nothing to scoff at for sure. And I'm using gold Fafnirs on all my team, Max Unbound. The gold Fafnirs, bronze Fafnirs, even if they're on your backliners, they do apply to your entire team. So you want to bring those to these types of quests. I suppose even the silver Fafnir, if you need mana, could be beneficial to bring with you. And you get those from the Void Battle treasure trade. However, this is a good amount of rupees, right? But the good thing about when you grind expert void battles, or let's say standard difficulty high dragons, or standard difficulty of Agito, you're getting augments as well. And the more augments you have, the more of your roster you can max augment. It's kind of a virtuous cycle where one of the big sinks for rupees that you never get your money back essentially is swapping augments. If you're instead building your collection of augments while getting a good amount of money, that, to me, the whole package of that is a little bit better. But obviously for only 10 stamina, I mean, a quarter million is insane. If you want to, you can use this to grind up to 99 million, no problem. You get a quarter million or like 300,000 from standard difficulty Agito and High Dragons if you have 3 or 4 gold Fafnirs. But that costs 40 stamina, 4 times the amount. So obviously this is a really good rate on those materials. And if you really want to mana spiral a lot of characters, I wouldn't say it's bad to do the other avenue or other ascent map either, just for the crystals. Let's take a look at the new void battles though. The deal with void battles is you almost never touch the Shroom Strike, Ghost Strike, Hermit Strike, Golem Strike, Catoblepas Strike, or Catoblepas, Phantom Strike, or Manticore Strike. Some advanced players are still playing the Manticore Strike because perhaps they haven't finished a collection of Manticore weapons and they need those for their Chimera weapons. But personally, and I think a lot of high-end players fall into this camp, like we're done with the Manticore weapons. We have all of them for all the elements, even for elements where Chimera weapons haven't released yet. I'm in that category, so I never touch that. But what you do gravitate toward are the rotating quests, which are here at the bottom, especially if they're on double drops. And frankly, like if something's not on double drops, I just don't play it. I'm just gonna wait till it comes out later in the week. If it is on double drops, that's when I play it, and that's when you get that good rate on the amount of rupees you're going to be able to get from these types of things, because you can get double drop void seeds, which, just to show off, we're going to go to the void treasure trade. With this void treasure trade, anything in this monthly category you want to clear out every month. I mean, some of this stuff is lower priority than others. Like, at some point you're going to have enough consecrated water and gold whetstones, but honestly, it took me a long time to get enough consecrated water, for one. So I don't think you reach a point where you have an abundance of that until very, very late. Like, I've been playing over a year and a half type of late. Succulent dragon fruit, same thing. Like, that took me until about maybe 6 or 7 months after I started playing until I could just always have enough to max level a dragon at any time. And gold whetstone, I always seem to have enough, but eventually when I decided I wanted to have a living collection of all the weapons, then I started to run a little bit low. But the other things that are more precious here, you just want to buy these out every month. And the rupees exchange rate is insane here. So let's just give an example. We have 88 void leaves right now. We're going to change one for 80 seeds. So, we have 88 void seeds now. We're going to change one for 80 leaves. Let's go in here to the monthly page and redeem that. And it costs 5. You redeem in bundles of 5. So we're going to go up to 16 here. So we're using a total of 80 leaves. That was 480,000 rupees right there. And as you can see, we have 87 left. So we have a living bank of rupees here for the taking anytime that we want. That 480,000 is obviously more than we just got in that 10 stamina quest, but void battles do tend to cost more to play. The reason that you sometimes dip into the easier difficulty void battles if you've been playing for a while is during these void week periods. So let's look here at the limited endeavors. This is essentially what I use to guide me in deciding how I'm going to spend my stamina and wings in a given day. You could think of this play session right now as like the second time I logged in for the day. Usually I log in like twice a day, maybe 3 times a day if I want to check on something. And because I am a content creator, I will go look into the game more often than that, but like that's the minimum that I think you can manage everything pretty well. So what you do here is you go down, you see what void battles are on focus, so to speak, or have endeavors attached to them. You have Cerulean Ghost, Kotoble Paskia, which is one of the new ones, Abyssal Phantom, which is new, and then Volcanic Chimera. Earlier in the day, I did a Volcanic Chimera already, so I already cleared one endeavor. And I did that because my Gather Wings were going to fill up, and I didn't want them to fill up. Because of that, we cleared one void battle. And these other endeavors are just for clearing any amount of quests, not limited to void battles. So you're going to want to just make sure you're playing regularly during the week. You're going to get to collect free Wormite for that, essentially. And players differ on this, endgame players differ on this. I'm a completionist type person, so like I see these endeavors, they usually go up to about 20 clears on each of these void battles. Even though they tend to just drop crafting materials for weapons that I may not necessarily need, I like to clear these out because it kind of gives me a sense of direction, a place to just sink some of my resources and feel like I'm getting a good value or decent value out of it. There are players, plenty of players, who would skip over anything here that's not like Chimera level at the minimum. But personally, this is what I use. So we know we're going to be looking at Cerulean Ghost, we're going to be looking at Kotoble Paskia, Abyssal Phantom, and Volcanic Chimera. Let's go ahead and collect our daily endeavors as well. There's daily endeavors for clearing void battles, and all the daily endeavors that you get normally, which are collecting those rupees, performing an item summon, which we'll take a quick look at, clearing a quest, clearing 3 quests, 5, and then all standard daily endeavors. The other thing is there's these Ascent to Eminence and Ascent to Power quests as well. So let's accept all. So we got those, and anything here for the Ascents? I guess there's nothing else for the Ascents. I really was expecting there would be some Wormite endeavors attached to doing them a certain amount, but I'm not seeing it here. So we'll accept the Void endeavors that we collected. Let me briefly go back to the shop to show you the item summon. So the item summon is under Upgrade, Essentials, and Packs. You never really want to spend Wormite on this. It's not advised whatsoever, but you do get one for free every day. And the other thing that I do here for free, now that I've been playing for a while, have a good amount of rupees, is I do buy 3 gold crystals, 3 succulent dragon fruit, 3 gold whetstone, and 3 consecrated water. These might not all be worth it, but lately it feels as though they've found ways to make resources we never used before suddenly matter a lot, like the rainbow orbs, which were never that important and became really important. So I go ahead and buy all 3 of those, or all 4. Let's look at the Void page now, and I'll talk about how to decide what to do. So we know we want to be doing Cerulean Ghost, I think. We want to do the Skia, and we want to do the Abyssal Phantom Strike. And then we also want Volcanic Chimera. What I usually do is look at which of these is going to be on double drops on what days for the duration of the Void Battle endeavors. So today, when I'm recording this, is a Friday. So today, the Cerulean Ghost is on double drops. So is the Abyssal Phantom that's new. So is the new Catoblepus. And so is the Volcanic Chimera. Tomorrow, and when you're watching this, it's actually today, because I'll post this on Saturday, you're still going to have this Catoblepus on double drops, and you're still going to have this Ghost. So I'm not going to focus on these 2 for today, because I know I can get those done tomorrow. I'm going to spend my stamina and my Gather Wings on these 2. And then on Sunday, it looks like the Phantom will come back, so I'll finish any of the 20 clears I have left on the Phantom. And the Volcanic Chimera will come back on double drop, so I'll also finish that. And then it shows during the week what's available on what days, but if you go to the top, when we get to Monday, this will come back. This Catoblepus, I don't know, and Volcanic Chimera will be there. But basically, you can use this to plan out. And the situation you want to avoid is getting to the end and not having the quest that you want available. Now, thankfully, that only would really apply to Volcanic Chimera because all the Void Battles are available all the time. It's not like they were before where the weaker difficulty Void Battles also rotated. But basically, that's kind of how I approach these things is I have some dailies I want to do every week. Then there's some excess stamina, some excess wings. If there's a raid event, usually that means I have a good outlet for my wings if I don't have a lot of free time in the day. If there is a facility event like there is right now in the Compendium, it usually means I have a really good sink for my stamina, so I want to spend wings when possible. But just for the sake of demonstration, even though this is going to be around tomorrow, let's go ahead and clear this just as a first clear. Just check it out, see what this Void Battle is like. We'll try on autoplay and we'll see. There's usually speed epithets tied to all this stuff, so I wonder if we'll actually clear it in time. My whole team here does have the Chocolatiers, but that can be a disadvantage if this guy has Petrify. So let me just run around a little bit and then come back and now let auto do what it does. So we got a 12-second clear. I had a feeling he was going to breathe on us and try Petrify us like some of the other Catoblepus do. But that was quick. And you can see I have my Yuden for player EXP of 15%. I had gold Fafnirs on everybody. Even though this is a really small amount of rupees, I figure why not? We're close to getting our Fafnir medal limit for this week. And finish that one. So now let's move on and look at the new Phantom Strike. Phantom Strike actually costs 25. So this is one I don't mind doing in co-op either. But I think I'll go ahead and do it solo just for quickness of getting through it, I think. But let's start this off. Hopefully we can do this one within the time limit. After this one, we'll go check the Endeavors page. The normal Endeavors is also going to give us some rewards for clearing these for the very first time. And we'll see if we have to intervene here. I don't think we will. But these Phantom fights aren't necessarily super easy, especially if you're early in the game. The nice thing about these Phantom battles, though, is if you're struggling against Chimera, it's great that Phantoms are permanently available now because the weapons from Phantoms, if you don't have like High Dragon weapons, Agito weapons, the weapons from Phantoms are nice to use against the Chimera bosses. So took us 23 seconds. That might not be enough for the speed clear. Honestly, it might be like 5 or 10 or 1 second perhaps. I don't think they've gone that crazy on us actually before, but there were some that were really, really speedy and tight. And yeah, it looks like we were able to get all of them. Just both of them were at 30 seconds, so let's accept the epithets and the free Wormite. And now let's look on this page. You can see we get our Void Seeds, which are going to be great for free rupees and stuff. And we kind of have a roadmap now of during the week, I'll just come back here, see which ones I still need to kind of clear up on. Cerulean Ghost and the Catoblepus I'll do with Stamina. The other ones I'll probably do with Wings, especially right now that I'm sitting on 10. And that's usually how I try to approach these Void Weeks. It's actually a good opportunity to get some grinding in because these queues are more full than they normally are. And especially for Chimeras, this is a good time. If you think you're going to craft Agito weapons in the future, like, it's not a bad idea to just try craft a tier 2 Chimera weapon for all the weapon types in each element where Chimera weapons are available. So I've already done that in past Void Weeks. Like, I've gone through and made a tier 2 Chimera weapon for Flame for every weapon type, just because on the double drops, you do build up materials for these quickly, especially since the Void Week endeavors are to try play these like 20 times. But that is pretty much going to do it for today, everyone. I hope this video was kind of a helpful look at what I do each day in Dragalia Lost. It's kind of the same thing over and over in some ways. That's why the events that happen are so important, I think, to the events, to the game's future. And keeping those fresh is super important because there's a lot of permanent content, but a lot of it is repeated, I think, to be fair. One last thing is you do want to make sure you log into your alliance or form an alliance every day. That can be easy to forget, but there will usually be an exclamation mark to remind you. You get some honey from that that's well worth getting. I'm trying to think if there's anything I left out of this video that you would want to be aware of. Of course, on your weekends when Astro Raids are up, be sure to log in to play those. But I think that's going to do it for today, everyone. So thank you as always for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.